Hey lawyers, it's so great to have you here today enjoying this content. This is a three-part series about websites. I'm actually talking specifically today about which law firms should even bother with a website. And of course, my caveat is that we do build beautiful custom WordPress websites and have built hundreds of them for law firms. And if you're curious about websites, actually this video series is a great place to start. There's 3 ways to work with us. Our agency does it all for you: coaching and self-study courses. So today's video is kind of lo-fi because I'm on my way to Louisville, Kentucky to film, oh my gosh, like 20 television commercials. Some of them will go online. Most of them will go on TV with one of my favorite law firms, Mike Sullivan. I'm going to link his video where I interviewed him about Social Security disability law, a few episodes back. And so it's a little bit casual today, and I'll be back to my high-end video as soon as I can. But I made a promise to myself that I was going to give you guys educational content for a full year, no matter what. So today I just don't have time to be out with a crew filming. This is what we're going to do today. Okay, so this series is talking all about websites. This video here is which law firms should even bother with a website. And I'll give you a brief history lesson about how, believe it or not, Howard Stern and a porn star accidentally bombed my website, leading me to completely learn how to search engine optimize websites. And it has benefited my clients and me so much over all these years. That little story will also make this particular video a little bit longer, so I'm going to make sure to put chapters in so that you can skip around. So part 2 in this series is what are the most valuable elements for a law firm website, and part 3 is what law firm websites should cost and why. In this episode, I'm breaking this into chapters. Chapter 1 is going to be a brief history of websites, telling my weird story for learning search engine optimization. Part 2 is what works today for websites. And chapter 3 is what kind of law firms should even bother having a functioning website. So you can jump ahead if you like. But first, a quick introduction. I've produced over 10,000 law firm videos in all different styles. Having a video is easy, but having a video that reaches or surpasses your goals is not so easy. While my marketing agency does everything related to signing new clients and streamlining your practice,
where'd they find this guy?
I think that I'm best known for video production, not only from directing so many thousands of videos and building video studios in law firms, but as the marketing agency tracking the data that proves that the videos reached their goals. And marketing, when done correctly, is a fabulous investment. So let's jump into this subject. So my short answer, if you don't have time to watch this video, to the question, which law firms should bother with a website, all law firms should probably bother with a website. But there are ways to get clients without a website these days. But don't bother having a website at all if it's a mess, if it's broken, if it has broken links, or if you don't maintain it. That is not a good recipe for success. Also, don't have a website if you're expecting that just having a website is going to magically bring you a steady flow of clients. This is chapter 1 in this video, and it's called Howard Stern and the Porn Star. I have a weird story about all that, and God works in mysterious ways. In 2006, before they called it search engine optimization, I was teaching young guitar students from my local church and schools, and something really weird happened. I'm a lifelong musician. You may have guessed, I love teaching, and I built myself a Mary Cary website for my guitar students at marycary.com. And note the spelling, Marycary. And no, I no longer have this website. I woke up in the morning, August 18th, 2006, to an email from my web hosting company that I owed them hundreds of dollars for overage on my website. I couldn't even imagine how or why my website had gotten hundreds of thousands of visitors overnight. And to my further surprise, I was getting piles of really gross, downright creepy emails. So what was going on? Later that day, someone I knew called me and told me that a porn star named Mary Cary, spelled with an E in the name, was on the Howard Stern show. And I looked at the replay on old school TV, and sure enough, a porn star named Mary Cary was running for governor, and she put her head in the toilet on the air, and Howard Stern told his massive audience to get in touch with her by going to visit marycary.com, which was my URL, my domain. Yep, he misspelled her domain. And Mr. Stern told the porn star's fan base and his to visit my little guitar student musician website, where young girls from local schools and our church were getting guitar lessons from me, and they would download handouts and stuff. I was mortified. Almost immediately, the porn star's website popped to the top of the Google searches, and right above my name in Google. And I didn't know what to do. My next thought was oh God, these sweet little guitar students, a porn star website was just above mine. And it was just, I can't even tell you how upset I was. So no one had yet heard of the term search engine optimization, but I remembered that links that were coming from other websites that directed to my website would help put my website on the top of the search engines. And whenever I had a live gig with my bands, or we had any press, or they linked to my website would dominate the homepage of Google, and my social media pages also would. Now remember, this was 2006. After only a week of utilizing keywords in the right places and scrambling to get links connected from other sites and calling around to get help from people, I had the porn star's website on the second page of Google, where nobody was looking for guitar lessons or anything else. They always say, if you want to hide a dead body, hide it on the second page of Google. Nobody will find it. So that was my bullet dodged, and that's how I learned to do search engine optimization. Chapter 2. What works today with websites for lawyers? Well, today, search engine optimization is an entire field of study, and boy, have I had a deep dive over the years. With Google as it is now, you want your website search engine optimized to match your Google Maps listing. Google Maps has replaced what we used to call natural or organic search results. They've also replaced blogging. True organic listings have moved below Google Maps, and usually only one firm shows up there. People choose the law firms that are in the Google Maps 3-pack. And if your law firm is not in the Google Maps 3-pack, you've got to be sending interested people to your website with some sort of other plan. Chapter 3. What law firms should bother having a website? In this section, I'm addressing 3 kinds of law firms. All law firms who have never had a website, and law firms who have old websites that they don't keep maintained. So let's first look at all law firms. I think all law firms should have a website. First, I believe that all law firms should have a functional website, and no matter what your practice area, your website should be given out to potential clients with your educational materials on it, teaching them what they should do next, and helping them get to know the ins and outs of their practice of your practice area and why they should need a lawyer. Your website doesn't have to be outward facing only. Smart law firms use their WordPress websites to house their forms for intake. They also have educational sections for existing clients and so much more. But no matter what your practice area these days, you need to have a plan for people to see your website. Firms who have never had a website. If you haven't had a website, you need to think long and hard about the cost of building it and how you're going to get people to see your website. I can't make this clear enough. Your website, no matter how beautiful or educational, will not get you clients without some sort of a plan to put it in front of people. Here are some questions to ask yourself. Will you be search engine optimizing your website with your Google Maps listing? Will you run advertising campaigns to get visitors? Who is going to host your website and who is going to keep your website updated and maintained? Hosting and maintenance cost money and take some work. The pricing of this stuff varies greatly, and I'm going to get into that in episode 3. Law firms with old websites. Many of the law firms that I've seen lately, especially, may have an old website. You might have had your website a really long time. It might have hundreds of pages and blog articles and links. And a lot of times these links end up getting broken, which ends up blacklisting your website. So when was the last time that you went through your entire website, or at least the most obvious pages, and made sure that it's functioning? You really need to do that as soon as possible. Letting your website disintegrate without weekly maintenance is a huge problem. It frustrates your visitors, it sends them to your competition, and eventually it really does end up getting blacklisted from Google. One way that I like to cure a law firm website that's kind of a big mess is by building a new website that includes the old content, going through and fixing all of the broken links and only keeping the articles that are really worthwhile visible. A lot of times you can have all these old pages on there and just one link that will take them to all of that old content. Because only one law firm shows up these days below the Google Maps listing, you also need a plan to send visitors to your website. So let's recap what you learned today. Search engine optimize your website to match your Google Maps listing. Make sure your content is regularly updated and maintained on the front and the back end. And also make sure that you don't have bad links. Just go through your site and be sure that it is up to date, maintained, and working properly. In the next episode about websites, what are the most valuable elements for a law firm website? I'm going deeper into this subject for those thinking about modernizing your website or starting fresh. This will help you know how your website can bring in new clients. If you need help modernizing your website or building a fresh new website, let me know. I'd love to hear your ideas. My name is Mary Cary and my email address is mary@GoMediaMarketing.com. And I'll see you in the next video. Join us on Facebook, and if you're on YouTube, make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That's so that more law firms like yours can find this content. Thank you so much.